at Vintage Coliseum for tonight's contest, featuring the UCF Knights and your ECU Pirates. Fans ECU Athletics and the American Athletic Conference encourages and promotes good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation by supporting the participants and officials in a positive manner. Profanity, racial or ethnic comments, or other intimidating actions directed at officials, student athletes, coaches, or team representatives will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal from the site of competition. Thank you for your cooperation. At this time, in memory and respect to those who served and have served our country, we ask that you please stand to honor America with the playing of the national anthem by the ECU Pep Band. The colors are being presented by the ECU Air Force ROTC.
On this Wednesday evening, we welcome you to Greenville for a matchup in the American. The Pirates welcome to town the Knights of UCF. The Knights off to a red-hot 5-0 start, but the Pirates a tough team to beat anytime they're back at their home confines. We take a look at the big picture in the American before the Knights and Pirates tip off tonight. Of course, the Knights, one of two teams still unbeaten atop the standings, just 2 losses overall on this campaign with Coach Abe's squad as they're tied with the Huskies at the top of the standings. ECU looking for their second win here in this opening month of conference play. On that note, we welcome you in here on the American Digital Network. Lincoln Rose along with Coach Angela Beck. And Angela, when you look at UCF, we'll have so many stories of how they fought through adversity last year to become a 3 seed. This year, even higher aspirations, off to a great start with Coach Abe.
UCF is arguably one of the hottest teams in the country and in the conference. They hold teams to 52 points a game, top 10. ECU is struggling a little bit offensively, but they're 9-1 in the series and 8-2 at home. So will history prevail?
Yeah, Pirates have plenty of young talent of their own that we look forward to diving into. But for the Knights to improve to 6-0, what will they need to accomplish on the road here today?
Well, Coach Abe wants them to have some poise. Just, take it as it comes, limit their turnovers, and box out and continue to control the boards. As
for this Pirates group, how do they bounce back after a couple of losses over their last 2 outings?
Well, I think it's more make shots, and make more shots. They really need to make some shots tonight, but also handle the pressure and be aggressive along the way.
Well, no shortage of big names in this matchup. And for UCF, you talk about a young lady who has really starred early in conference play when you look at the performance this year of KK Wright.
Well, KK Wright is leading the league right now in scoring, and she's done it in a lot of different ways. She's actually a defensive nightmare for other teams. She's hard to guard. She can drive, she can dish it, she can rebound it, and she can shoot it from 3. So she's got total game and she's got total confidence.
And Lashonda Monk, the player from right here in her home state. She was so fun to watch last year as a true freshman, really the Energizer bunny of this group.
Well, definitely at 5'6", she can get down and dirty, and she is a thief. She leads the ACC, American Athletic Conference, in steals at 3.94 steals a game. She had 10 steals against SMU. She averages 12 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists along the way. So this kid, she can play.
Pirates and Knights when we come back here on the American Digital Network.
People say we're big. Wow. Well, what is big?
This is big.
It's an energy. An opportunity. So go on. Dream big. Because big is just the beginning.
I got it. This is big.
There's a lot to do out there. You can either talk about it or you can do something about it.
At ECU, we choose to do things. And we can help you do just about anything. Come here to keep hometowns thriving, hearts beating, or make waves across the world. Wherever you're headed, this ship can get you there. With 30,000 of us doing so much, you won't find anyone sitting around. You ready?
Starting lineups being introduced before we get underway with the Pirates and Knights. Again, Lincoln Rose, Angela Beck with you, and we take a look at the starting five. And, well, what a difference a year makes for the Knights back when they only had one true post player a year ago, but a much more experienced Masani Kaba will be available off the bench for them. And, again, of course, these days they have a healthy Tolu Omakore as well as Fifi Endor available off the bench across the way for the Pirates. They have now had 3 different leaders. When I talk about leaders, I mean head coaches. Right now, it's interim head coach Nicole Mealing at the helm after 6 years as an assistant. A nice start for ECU and a lot of optimism coming into this ball game. Speaking of optimism, we always look forward to a chance to check in courtside with Aaron Summers.
Thanks, Lincoln. UCF is off to one of their best starts in program history. While the Knights have gotten votes, they haven't broken into the top 25 polls just yet. Coach Abe said she isn't worried about that at all. Her team is taking it day by day. They are completely focused on what they need to do to succeed, and they're enjoying each little accomplishment every day. For ECU, they've dealt with a lot of adversity with 3 different coaches at the helm this season. They've also had a lot of injuries. They were without the leading point scorer, Raven Johnson, last game against Memphis, and forward Destiny Campbell. Both missed that game with a knee and ankle injury. Luckily for ECU, both will play tonight. However, forward Tamia Hicks will miss her 5th straight game with a back injury. We want to know where you're watching from tonight, so let us know in the chat section on Facebook. Lincoln?
Aaron, thank you. And again, as Aaron mentioned, as recently as our phone call the other day with Coach Mealing, it was still up to debate which players would be available healthy in time. You heard Aaron just mention that Tamia, the only one who didn't make it back quite in time after some question marks had hovered around. Also, Raven Johnson as well as, again, some others, including Destiny Campbell, who we expect to see off the bench. So the Pirates in white, Knights in black, and that ball will fall right into the lap of Sydney McDonald, the senior.
Well, they're going to go along with their theory, shoot it before they turn it over, and they get a quick shot, but a bad result.
And as Aaron mentioned, this is an interactive broadcast. Love to hear from where everybody is tuning in. Our last outing, of course, included that other team from the Sunshine State with all their international players, as the early stroke for the Knights has them up by a pair.
Yeah, a little stroke there by Paul, and that's a nice little take for her early on in the game here.
Kamisha Paul, again, out of Florida, playing in her senior campaign. The Knights have 6 active seniors on this year's roster. And you talk about so many coaches, no matter what the conference will point to, often the difference in a league is who has the seniors. In this case for ECU, it's Lashonda Monk, just a sophomore, able to bank home the 3.
Well, just as Eastern Carolina is worried about KK Wright, UCF is worried about Lashonda Monk.
And this one will go back the other way. Well, it is year 3 in Orlando with Katie Abrahamson Henderson, Coach Abe at the helm. What a turnaround it was in year 2. 22 wins, the best Division I mark that they have had in their history. And, well, they're already sitting on 16 wins this year. You would think if all goes as planned, they would blow past that 22-win mark this year.
Without a doubt, but I'll just let you know she's having a lot of fun at UCF. This is really her place where she has been able to shine, and each year she's gotten better. And this isn't by chance that she's gotten where she's wanted to be. This is by plan, it's by methodology, and it's been a lot of hard work.
KK Wright had the 2 points for the Knights on the opposite end to put them back up by 1. Offensive rebound here for ECU. Pirates have had some strong third quarters. Their problem has been some slow starts. That has been an emphasis here for Coach Mealing's squad.
Yeah, their starts and their finishes. Some of their finishes have been shy. They need to be more aggressive on their finish. And that offensive rebound early in the set was good. They just need to keep getting a bunch of those.
Coach Mealing reminds her team regularly, you can rebound a missed shot. You cannot rebound a turnover.
Well, that makes a lot of sense.
As, again, they will emphasize protecting that basketball and minimizing their mistakes. There you see Coach Mealing stepping out on the court briefly along the baseline. And, well, Nicole Mealing 7 years ago arrived in Greenville as a graduate of Francis Marion, where she had played for Heather Macy back at Francis Marion, wrapping up her career last decade. Macy has been a, again, mentor for her this year. She watched as new head coach, or new assistant coach, Chad Killinger, was promoted to interim head coach. He left briefly for an illness, but is back now. But as a result, the dominoes have led to Mealing. 7 years removed from taking the job as a video coordinator. These days now, your final coach on the end of the bench for ECU.
Yeah, she's got a lot of Heather Macy's principles, and she's a hardworking coach. So there's been a good transition, and I think with Chad back on the bench, it gives them a little bit more firepower. Back
inside, opportunity for second chance points, but would not go down for Salida Green. There's Masani Kaba. Last year, Kaba as a true freshman saw the only other post players on the roster go down to season-ending injuries. As a result, we saw Kayla Thigpen at all of 5'8", kind of being pushed from a guard to a makeshift post player. This year, everybody healthy, and as a result, significant depth and a lot more experience under their belts for those who did play last season.
Well, it makes for the complete team that you really need to have, and they persevered last year, but this year they're thriving.
Well, leaner will not go down for L'Oreal Wilson, back the other way. Monk has the only 3 points for the Pirates when she banked home that triple earlier here in the opening quarter. Back to Monk. Greenville, North Carolina. Pirates have enjoyed a lot of success here at home. 8-2 this year. Hoping they can find their second win of conference play here in their own backyard, and that will certainly help. Nice, confident pull-up shot from Alex Frazier.
Well, Alex Frazier is the vocal leader for that team, and that's a nice high-arcing shot. Good looking shot here early.
Alex Frazier is the only fourth-year senior for the Pirates this year, so 3 years ago, she's the only player who is still around from 4 years back. Well, stop and pop, good in the lane for Thigpen.
Well, Thigpen's really turned on her game this year, averaging 8.9 points for them, and picking it up here in conference play.
Scoring 9 points this year, back in a more familiar role as a guard. And opportunity in transition the other way. Nice job by the Pirates getting numbers back defensively. Thigpen, similar spot, and she's starting to pick up now. Last 4 points, has half of UCF scoring early on.
Well, that was all her defensively. She's the one that patted the ball down. They threw it to her. She converted it. So it was nice to see the player that makes the defensive stop get the treasure.
Oh, good recognition of the open teammate from Raven Johnson, but a foul on the Knights will slow things down, and it'll tap the brakes on the action right now here in Greenville, North Carolina. 4:22 to go in the opening quarter. It does give us a chance to check back in with Aaron.
At 16-2, UCF is off to their best start in Division I history, and they have done it against some stiff competition, just piling up the wins. For our first question tonight, head on over to Facebook and see if you know the answer. How many games have the Knights won against teams that made either the NCAA tournament or WNIT last season?
It's a great question. UCF comes into tonight, RPI number 17 in the nation, looking to crack the top 25 polls, perhaps, if they can pick up a win tonight.
At the American, we know that power isn't for the faint of heart. Power is reserved for the go-getters, the team players, and those who are hungry for victory. We know power because we are power. Join us for the 2019 American Athletic Conference Women's Basketball Championship, March 8th through the 11th at the Mohegan Sun Arena in Uncasville, Connecticut.
Powerful minds, strong in mind,
strong in body.
The American is dedicated to promoting success
through a healthy, powerful mind.
If it is okay to seek help
for injuries we can see, then it needs to be okay
to seek help for injuries
we can't see.
Mental health awareness is important because I think a lot of times it goes unnoticed in college athletics.
We look after our bodies, and it's just as important to look after our mental health.
It's time to end the stigma
related to mental health
and seeking help.
End the stigma.
Pirates still within 3 despite a slow start here in the opening quarter. Lincoln Royals' Angela Beck with you here on the American Digital Network. Pirates, again, we've noted, have played very well at home. Now 4 games into their conference slate, a win over Wichita State so far, which did come here in Greenville. Losses to Tulane, Tulsa, and Memphis. Right now, 1-3 mark. UCF, meanwhile, a challenging schedule this year, and of course a challenging date coming up on Sunday. They will square off with UConn, so there is a potential for that to be a battle of unbeatens in league play, in which case perhaps there'd just be a total of 3 losses overall on the overall records of those 2 teams combined. Right now, there are the standings right on cue. UConn, their only loss, of course, to Baylor in Waco right before conference play, and UCF just 2 defeats at Central Michigan as well as against Syracuse near the end of December. Well, you heard the question from Erin that she has posed to you, and you see the trivia up on your screen for those of you tuning in to our live stream here on Facebook. Great pass inside, but able to make up for things there was Brittany Smith defensively for the Knights after giving up some ground on the inbounds play.
A good look inside, and Green just took it, and she stayed with it. They blocked it the first time. Here she goes up, they get a block, and now she takes it, and she actually comes underneath and draws the foul. So great effort by Green.
Again, the trivia question, how many games have they already won this year against NCAA and WNIT squads from a year ago? Some more postseason teams still left on their schedule. Nice job at the line by Green.
I think East Carolina can be happy with this start. They haven't shot the ball extremely well, but they've been mixing up their defenses, and definitely the intensity level is good for them.
See if the Pirates can come up with a stop, have a chance to take the lead on the next trip down. Monk always a pest defensively, and there she is forcing the turnover. Almost 4 steals that she forces a ball game. Pulls up the triple. No need for glass this time around for Lashonda Monk.
Well, she's crafty at her stealing. You know, she actually lured her into the little hole and then poked it away. So excellent defense.
Last year she set the American record as just a freshman, had 10 steals in 1 game. That has since been matched by 1 other player, but she also has another 9-steal performance. So her name already graces the record books in the American as 2 of the top 3 performances defensively that this league has seen in a single ball game. For the Pirates, you see there the 6'2" senior Desiree Corbin, former honorable mention All-American in junior college a couple years back. And here is that pressure that the Knights can look forward to. I should say that the Pirates can look forward to throughout the ballgame.
Well, the Knights are giving them a little bit of their own medicine there by extending, and I think the Knights feel like they can go 11 deep, so they can pressure them and probably wear them out a bit more.
Yeah, Coach Abe this year able to flex her depth. You talked about going 11 deep. Now, some teams, even if they have 11, they still just want to play 8 or 9 and really have a tight rotation, but she is really pleased with just about what everybody on that bench has to offer.
Well, I think it's called developing your players, and when you talk about how do you get there and what did she do, and she's like, you know, it's methodology, you know, it's systems, it's structure. She does a lot of the little things that make them successful, and it just doesn't come by chance.
She's mindful she will graduate 6 players, and of course that means a big recruiting class also on the horizon. Schuler step in, closer look, and she'll get the bank shot to go here on the road today. Niala Schuler, one of your homegrown products out of Orlando, went to Edgewater High School, now in her 5th and final year with the Knights.
The coach talks about her doing the little things. Well, there's the little thing she does is, you know, shoots the bank shot straight in, you know. But we're not going to make her. We're going to make her a star tonight because she deserves it for doing the little things.
Lashonda Monk just wanted it more. Check in with Aaron.
Last week against Memphis, ECU shot just under 25% from the field. Coach Mealing said it's a slump that's been lasting for a long time. This week, the Pirates talked about shot accountability, getting in the gym, getting extra reps, so it translates into the game. Mealing said the team has to shoot themselves out of this slump.
Yeah, they had 2 big droughts in that 4th quarter where they only finished with 6 points. That proved to be the difference as they would fall 58-46 at Memphis against Melissa McFerrin's group. Again, Thigpen back in a more natural role this year. But she is one of those players who was willing to do whatever it took for the team to find success. A little step to the side, shot off the mark for Sydney McDonald. Knights were picked 4th in the preseason this year after capturing the 3 seed last year. And Coach Abe, and I think every coach in this league will point out there's a big difference between the 3 seed and the 4 seed. Now, in terms of the days you play in the tournament, those are the same, but the difference is, are you potentially meeting UConn in the semifinals or in the championship?
100%, and they all think about it, and they do want to get in a different bracket than UConn. Everybody does, because obviously they're that great. So it's on everybody's mind. So every game, everyone counts.
Last year, the Knights, what a block up front by Thigpen. It'll stay with the Pirates. Shot clock melting down. And a great job blocking out. Again, the Knights last year lost to USF, who would go on to play UConn in the championship. Knights already with a victory against the Bulls this year with one more meeting against their rival. And you see right now the Pirates trying to take advantage of numbers. Monk the other way, able to finish. And let's see if we get a stoppage in play for our injured UCF Knight.
A.K. Wright, and that's a big injury. Looks like she tweaked her ankle on that play, and now we've got a little ankle over here, but she actually has gone to the bench pretty hobbled. So it looked like an inadvertent tweak of the ankle. She just kind of came down on it wrong and was not able to put any weight on it. So that's a little bit of a concern here early.
A.K. the junior averaging over 19 points a ball game, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. They hope that she can come back on, but right now she's on that back row being tended to. Knights with a 1-point edge inside the final minute of the opening quarter. Pirates have to be pretty pleased with this start here at home.
Yeah, I think definitely they're pleased. I mean, they've got this game in check, and you know, they're battling back and forth. So,
despite the fact ECU's just shooting 26% here in the opening quarter, they are down by just 1 score, and let's see if Monk can put them up ahead going into the second frame. And she will go to the free throw line as she goes right at Diamond Battles, the freshman who will be called for the foul.
Well, Monk is slippery. Like she kind of hung in there just long enough to draw it. It wasn't much of a foul, but just enough to get the call. So just an outstanding player, outstanding start for her.
She's averaging 12 points a game, already has 8 here in the opening quarter.
Yeah, she had 25 points versus Wake Forest and 11 in the final quarter, so she can turn it up a couple notches. She's got that 5th gear.
Misses both, but tracks down her own rebound. Pirates can fire one up for the lead. She already had 2 triples. That one would not go down. And the Knights will hang on to a 1-point lead with 1 quarter in the book. What a clash we have on a Wednesday night here in Greenville on the American Digital Network.
This is our game, our moment, our time. We work hard and play harder. We stay loyal to the game and to our team. We are power, American power, The American, powered by determination.
Scores!
3 strikeouts in a row.
Dominance for a 4th straight year. Quaso from 30!
Unbelievable.
And be able to celebrate this type of championship.
There's the record breaker. They are the champions of the American.
More than 7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 22 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power 6 conference known as the American, powered by determination.
Well, UCF finds itself up by 1. The concern there in that final minute of the opening quarter, KK Wright, who's really become the leader of this squad with 19 points a ball game, goes down. You see that right ankle, and she is still being tended to. Back on the bench.
Yeah, she just twisted it, and like I said, inadvertent. I didn't see her touch anyone's foot or anything awkward. It's kind of a freak injury.
Again, Wright also out of Orlando. Juniors made every start this year for Coach Abe and company. Across the way for the Pirates. And their next step towards improving, talking to Coach Mealing, was, look, just make more shots. They're already pleased with where their defense is. Obviously, a big part of that defense is Lashonda Monk, who already has helped force 3 turnovers, and that's led to fast break points, one of the categories where the Pirates have an edge in this one. In fact, Monk already a couple of triples, had a chance to possibly give the Pirates a lead coming into this quarter if she had hit a 3rd three-pointer in the final possession.
Well, just at the end, she knew time and possession. She got the steal, she knew the clock, she took the shot, she missed the shot, but she's a headsy player. She has 8 points in that quarter, and she's all everything for them right now.
Well, obviously that's going to be a big story with KK not back in the game just yet. Let's check back in with Aaron.
Lincoln, UCF guard KK Wright is sitting behind the Knights bench right now. The athletic trainers were looking at her right ankle. As the athletic trainer was pushing on the outside of her ankle, she was visibly in pain, wincing as he was pressing on that ankle. They did tape it up, and she's not on it at the moment, but it is possible that she comes back in.
And thank you. If Coach Abe has it her way after last season, the athletic trainer will not get any more FaceTime on camera for the rest of this year, as a couple of tough injuries were dealt to UCF, and they still overcame and finished as a top 3 seed with Fifi Indoor and Tolu Omakore going down prematurely last year. Knights did not make any excuses, and again allowed players like Masani Kaba, who's on the floor right now, to really develop. Thigpen, they'll call her for a walk.
Yeah, a little shift in the pivot foot by Thigpen, but I am really impressed with her. I think her playing inside last year has helped develop her entire game. She looks stronger. She's more physical, and she looks very athletic. And I know Coach talked about their physical shape. All of her players look like they're in great physical shape, which makes it tough to beat them down.
Thigpen is the leading scorer right now for UCF with her 4 points. Meanwhile, of course, Lashonda Monk has 8 of ECU's 12. And one and done are the Pirates. Thigpen leading the charge the other one. Obviously, both of these teams, the added benefit of making your shots, you get to get your defense in place and apply that press. Not the case the last trip down. Kaba.
Both teams have struggled offensively, even though, I mean, we have 13-12 game, but it's 35% to 22%, 35% for UCF. So neither team shooting the ball extremely well, just a little bit out of sorts, but I'm sure that they'll get in a rhythm here.
Still stuck on our first quarter score. That has the Knights up by 1. A couple of minutes here into the second frame. And that pass declined into the entry feed, and now a foot race the other way as Diamond battles the freshman from Winter Haven, Florida. Averages 3 points a ball game, already has 2.
Well, it's nice to have her come in because she's a true point guard, and she can, you know, definitely help in the assist department.
A nice answer from the sophomore, Ariana Williams.
Well, I'm definitely impressed with ECU's demeanor right now. They seem very confident and in control, and not making a lot of turnovers, and keeping their cool and poised like she wanted them to.
Again, nobody picked her up. And Williams, who's a 28% shooter from beyond the arc, able to connect there in her 12th game of the season now. The early advantage for UCF in the post. Oh, nice dish to Thigpen. Open look, just won't go down. And the rebound to Salita Green. Green, the senior, started her career a couple years playing in Richmond for the Spiders. Now in her final year with the Pirates. And now it's the Knights forcing turnovers. Numbers to their advantage, 3-on-1. And how about that effort, holding her ground all by herself there, was Justice G on the fast break. Now the Knights still have possession, but you had 3 Knights and they couldn't come away with the bunny.
Well, look, if you look at Thigpen, she's actually laughing because that's quite an effort. You know, she has like 2 or 3 ECU players around her, and she just keeps it alive, and she keeps working hard. So great effort by her.
Alex Frazier, point guard, back over to the bench. Well, couldn't be any closer with 7 minutes to go until halftime.
Well, interesting to see how UCF's composure is without KK Wright around. 19 points of their offense sitting on the bench.
Flat-footed block shot, and now another contested shot from Destiny Campbell in her second and final year as a Pirate.
Well, that was Paul right there, just putting the hang time on and making it finish.
That persistence paying off for UCF, getting the bucket and the lead, and now they'll get the ball back.
That's what I expected, some moments like that where ECU just, you know, fumbles or isn't able to take care of the basketball, and that's what they have to try to not have happen. They've got to take care of every possession each time down.
ECU last year in the conference tournament beat SMU in the first round, fell to USF in the quarterfinals before USF would then beat UCF in the semifinals. But difference was Knights would go on to the postseason, to the WNIT. They'd make it to the second round against Alabama. But Coach Abe really wants these women, especially with 6 seniors now, to get a taste of the NCAA tournament. I mentioned their RPI right now sits at number 17 in the country. You have to like their odds of cracking their way not only into the top 25 polls soon, but also into the big dance by the end of the year.
Well, without a doubt, they've put themselves in position to break the polls, and you know, I've been an advocate of them being in it. I don't understand how you can be number 2 in this league and undefeated and have the kind of preseason they have and not be in the polls. So hopefully they'll be recognized soon.
Shot clock, single digits. Thigpen off the front of the iron. Another offensive rebound. That one to Brittany Smith, the freshman. And just driving. No bucket for Wilson. And how about a third chance opportunity here for UCF?
Well, that's one thing ECU's got to do, is they're going to have to do a better job of limiting their offensive rebounds. Right now, 8 offensive rebounds for UCF.
Back inside, shot clock at 8. Third time the charm for the Knights on that possession.
Brittany Smith, she looks like a good little player in there, 6'3" freshman. Hasn't got as many minutes, but getting her time here tonight.
Well, the Knights are coming off that win against SMU that moved them to 5-0, but that was not an easy win against Travis Mays' squad. That was the 3rd game of the week for UCF, but they came back. A nice finish in the second half. But a slow start against ECU, but right now a 4-point advantage and a chance to build that on this possession.
Well, now that KK's out, they're looking to go down low as many times and as often as they can. And that time again to Brittany Smith, and ECU did a great job of defending it.
Still just a 2-score ball game with 4:11 to go until halftime. This gives us another chance to check back in with Aaron Summers.
Minges Coliseum has been home sweet home for the Pirates. They are going for their 360th home victory tonight. A victory tonight would also give them another winning season. Here is question number 2 tonight. Overall, how many winning seasons have the Pirates had at home in 42 seasons? Make sure that you take that poll and give us the answer on Facebook.
Yeah, Aaron, thank you. As the Knights and Pirates, a good one here in the opening half. Still 4:11 to play here in the second quarter.
Strong in mind, strong in body, strong in school, sport, life.
The grind is 10% physical and 90% mental.
The mind is the power.
The body is a means to jump higher, run faster,
be smarter, and live longer.
There is no weakness when it comes to seeking help.
We are stronger together.
So let's talk about it.
A waterfall starts with one drop.
Change starts with one person.
The American is dedicated to ending the stigma related to mental health
and promoting success through a healthy, powerful mind.
Promoting success through a healthy, powerful mind.
Power comes in all forms.
Power is a big tackle, a big save, a clutch hit,
or a game-winning shot.
Power is also standing up for what is right.
There is power in the sportsmanship that is displayed across the American.
Power is respecting opponents,
officials,
student athletes,
coaches, and team representatives.
Power is not tolerating racial or ethnic comments,
profanities, or other improper actions while at the game.
The American.
Power for life.
The American. Power for life.
The American. Power for life.
Well, the Knights are up against a Pirates team that's number 11 in the nation and forcing 22 turnovers per game and a plus-minus margin of a positive almost 7 in turnovers. Both these teams' defenses have been so aggressive early on.
Yes, because you got Monk on the floor, and Monk leads the league in steals, so she's always been a part of ECU's defense and turning the ball over.
Each team with 6 turnovers so far here in the opening half. The difference is the Knights have been able to convert that into 9 points, while the Pirates have only been able to find 3 points off the turnover game.
A lot of it has to do with that 3-2 defense the Knights play with the 3 guards up front, and they're off to the races and going to lay one up.
Quick release on the inbounds play. Shot won't go down, and a nice job by ECU to deny the offensive rebound.
Yeah, they haven't been very hot from 3-point range, so the ECU team's going to give them the green light from outside.
Again, you see the new trivia question on your screen as Williams, another confident stroke, her second now of the ball game for the sophomore.
I'm going to have to give Coach Mealing credit for that one, because that's a set play out of the timeout. That's a little bump screen for Williams, and she nailed it.
Well, she told us on the call she knew she would get scoring from Monk as well as from Williams. They've combined for 14 today. The question is, who else would step up and enter that scoring column for them today? And meanwhile, UCF believes every rebound belongs to them.
Well, they're very strong, they're very tall, and they're very determined. So you're going to have to do some boxing out, and that's the only way you're going to make it happen.
Niala Schuler, already in her, again, 5th year with the Knights, already has her undergraduate degree, working on her master's, and that time with the offensive rebound and put back.
See how long they are up top? They're very long, and the middle's wide open, but they've got to set somebody in there.
Speaking of long, a long distance look there from Nicole Hope, the sophomore. And a couple of second chance points now for the Pirates as gives Salita Green a pair.
Yes, Salita Green has a little touch, little stab hook that she's got. She gets her body into the defender and takes it right at him.
She had missed her first 6 shots from the floor, but now 4 points on the ball game. That'll drift away. Rebound to Monk. Stripped away. A little dose of her own medicine, perhaps.
Monk almost had it back, but she was mad at herself.
Again, to answer the earlier question from Aaron Summers, these Knights already have 9 wins this year against teams that were either in the NCAA tournament or the WNIT a year ago to help them build that strong schedule. An RPI of 17 so far, and Thigpen with 2 more off the bench.
This is good patience, good ball reversal to an open Thigpen for the shot.
They are up against a Pirates team that plays well here at home and right now is within 3 in the final 2 minutes of this opening half. In fact, the Pirates have only lost once to the Knights here at home. They won the first 9 meetings before losing last year here in Greenville to UCF. The Knights have won the last 3 games in this series now. From 14. And again, shot affected by the defense of Niala Schuler, who's been a key to this defense, really the glue of this team, according to Coach Abe, over the years. But she's been able to grow on the offensive side as well.
She's a rebounding machine. She's 5th in rebounds at 755 rebounds in the top 10 in blocks. She's their post stopper. So, I mean, she's the one that's going to come up with it in the big times. I'm just wondering what Alex Frazier's vertical is, though. I don't know if you've noticed on that last shot how high up she got. She didn't make the shot. She does have a high arcer, but she gets up off the ground.
Yeah, the senior listed at 5'9". Certainly not the tallest player out there on the court. But she, like a couple of her teammates, have been fighting for every loose ball. Just a 1 possession advantage right now for the Knights here on the road. UCF shooting 31% this quarter, 35% for the ball game. From the wing. And another offensive rebound. Wraparound pass inside. They'll let the contact go. The left-handed finish good for Schuler.
Well, that was a great pass and a great finish. And the weak side of ECU is not blocking out, so they're continually getting that weak side offensive rebound.
Schuler's one of your 2 players who has started every game for the Knights this year. And that time, just patience. Monk thought about it. Inside and defensively, that's Brittany Smith denying position. She's this year's big freshman post player for the Knights. And we may have had a couple of heads knocked there. It looks like Frazier and Siani Martin are both okay.
Both teams getting a little sloppy here down the last 27 seconds.
Thigpen. And hauled in by Green. ECU can hold for the final shot. Trying to cut this to just a single score as the 2 teams head to the locker room. And this one's been tight all throughout these first 2 quarters. ECU has to be very pleased with how they have competed here in the opening half against, right now, an unbeaten Knights team of UCF. The first meeting on the year between ECU and UCF takes place here in Greenville, North Carolina. And in a moment, Aaron will have a chance to check in with Coach Abe as we look forward to hearing from both head coaches here at the half. Let's go ahead and check in with Aaron and your UCF head coach.
Coach, we saw KK Wright go down in the beginning of the game with an ankle injury. What's her status for the rest of the game?
Well, it depends on the score of the game. I'm not going to put her in if we don't have to put her in.
She contributes nearly 20 points a game. How are you going to fill that void offensively?
Well, obviously that's why everybody, every game that we've played, we've asked everybody to step up, because that's a big task for her to do every single game. So obviously people got to figure out this zone defense a little bit and find their open shots.
What do you need to do in order to attack that zone defense?
We got to attack their gaps a little better, but we're getting wide open shots. We're just not making them, so we just got to knock them down.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Lincoln?
Aaron, thank you. Look forward to hearing from Nicole Mealing on the other side of halftime. When we come back, some highlights and stats. It's the Knights up by 5 on the road this evening here on ADN.
At the American, we know that power isn't for the faint of heart. Power is reserved for the go-getters, the team players, and those who are hungry for victory. We know power because we are power. Join us for the 2019 American Athletic Conference Women's Basketball Championship, March 8th through the 11th at the Mohegan Sun Arena in Uncasville, Connecticut.
USF's women's basketball is facing adversity this season. After losing their top player due to a season-ending injury, there have been 4 more inactive players added to the list. Now the Bulls are relying on 8 healthy players to battle through conference play, with 5 of those girls only being freshmen.
Who better to take on the challenge than Sidney Harvey? After having to sit out from her state championship game in high school due to a grade 3 shoulder separation, she's now making up for lost time by carrying this team on her back. Among active players, she's USF's leading scorer.
The freshman point guard is also currently leading the team in assists and is leading the American in free throw percentage, hitting 90% of her shots from the free throw line. And the key to her success this season? Consistency.
Yeah, I was surprised, but now I'm kind of like getting used to it because, you know, you just have to play my work ethic or just like not getting too down or too high. I'm a consistent person. I don't like to get like really low in games if I'm not hitting shots. You can always play defense. I don't like to get too high if I'm hitting shots. You know, just keep it consistent.
Harvey began her basketball journey back in the 2nd grade, and ever since, she's continued to excel in her career.
My friend Rachel saw me shooting in recess, and she was like, "You should play for our WNSL team." So then she sent me a letter, and then I got into basketball, so it's all thanks to her. So
Harvey also comes from a basketball family. Her father played and has been an inspiration to her and continues to be today.
I've seen him play on YouTube against Michael Jordan, so I was like, wow. So I was like, yeah, I wanted to play basketball. He's always, after games, telling me something, during the games, telling me something, so yeah, he's been great.
Not only did the Bulls have their eye on Harvey during the recruiting process, but the Nashville, Tennessee native had her eye on them.
AU, of course, or travel basketball, they were looking at me, but I just thought, I've seen them play on TV. I was like, I'd love to get to be a part of that program. Just the diversity on the team is just great. And Florida, who wouldn't want to be in Florida? So.
USF scored big with Sidney Harvey. Her first season playing at the college level and is already reaching career highs and leading this team when they need it the most.
It's been hard at times, but with my teammates, the coaches, everybody's just encouraging me. And I just have to think of like the next man up mentality. You just have to be ready. When your chance gets here, you just got to be ready to step up and make a play.
With Campus Connect from USF, I'm Natalie Island.
Fake layup and in! A quick 6-0 run out of the timeout.
People say we're big. Wow. Well, what is big?
This is big.
It's an energy. An opportunity. So go on. Dream big. Because big is just the beginning.
I got it. This is big.
I would tell my freshman self to trust the process and just be the best version of me. After I finish playing, it's my dream to either be a sports marketer or coach.
What emoji do you use the most?
I would say the hard eyes because I'm beautiful.
What emoji describes you the best?
The musk emoji. The best advice I've ever received is control the controllables.
How would your friends describe you?
Very passionate, very hardworking, and just, yeah, a go-getter, I think.
How would you describe the game day atmosphere in your arena?
It's pretty hectic. It's fun. Very energetic.
What does it mean to you to put on the UCF jersey, the Knights jersey?
It means a lot. Being a hometown kid and being able to represent UCF in Orlando in the right manner.
There's a lot to do out there. You can either talk about it or you can do something about it. At ECU, we choose to do things. And we can help you do just about anything. Come here to keep hometowns thriving, hearts beating, or make waves across the world. Wherever you're headed, this ship can get you there. With 30,000 of us doing so much, you won't find anyone sitting around. You ready?
If you could know then what you know now, what would you say to your freshman self?
Don't get down on myself, you know. If you make bad plays, just pick myself up, talk to myself.
Okay, which conference opponent do you look forward to playing the most?
I look forward to playing Houston. I just feel like we're a good team, they're a good team, so it's always like a really competitive thing between both of us.
What's the best advice you've ever received?
No matter how hard life gets, don't give up.
Who's your best friend on the team?
Ariana Williams.
How would your friends describe you?
Goofy.
What are you listening to in your headphones in the pregame?
Meek Mills. ECU part R.
This is our game, our moment, our time. We work hard and play harder. We stay loyal to the game and to our team. We are power, American power. The American, powered by determination.
Scores!
3 strikeouts in a row.
Dominance for a 4th straight year. Hueso from 30! Unbelievable!
And be able to celebrate the second championship.
There's the record breaker. They are the champions of the American.
Halftime in Greenville between the Knights and the Pirates. We step back a moment to take a look back at last week here in the American and some of our honors that were distributed. And Angela, it's been so fun to watch so many of these teams and storylines progress. And it should be no surprise, last year's American Athletic Conference Freshman of the Year has continued to grow this year. And this past week, your player of the week in the American, Imari Thomas at Cincinnati.
Well, last week she averaged a double-double, 20 points, 10 rebounds. She's a physical player who can take you inside and out. She actually controls the paint. There she takes a little stuff and she runs both ends of the floor. Here's a little hook shot in the middle. She tries to create her shot and does multiple things.
Cincinnati has launched in the top half of this league. Meanwhile, you and I got to see Sidney Harvey up close and in person. The talented freshman, one of so many career-setting days for the few Bulls available for Coach Fernandez.
Just think about that song, She's a Smooth Operator. This girl, she can operate all over the floor. There's a little stop and pop. She can shoot the 3, and here's a little stutter step-through move to finish it.
Sidney Harvey, the freshman at USF, your freshman of the week. Imari Thomas, your player of the week in the American. Halftime continues when we return.
Strong in mind, strong in body, strong in school, sport, life.
The grind is 10% physical and 90% mental.
The mind is the power.
The body is a means to jump higher, run faster,
be smarter, and live longer.
There is no weakness when it comes to seeking help.
We are stronger together.
So let's talk about it.
A waterfall starts with one drop.
Change starts with one person.
The American is dedicated to ending the stigma related to mental health.
And promoting success through a healthy, powerful mind.
Promoting success through a healthy, powerful mind.
Power comes in all forms.
Power is a big tackle, a big save, a clutch hit,
or a game-winning shot.
Power is also standing up for what is right.
There is power in the sportsmanship that is displayed across the American.
Power is respecting opponents,
Officials,
Student athletes,
Coaches and team representatives.
power is not tolerating racial or ethnic comments,
Profanities or other improper actions while at the game.
The American.
Power for life.
The American. Power for life.
The American.
Power for life.
Halftime, a 5-point edge for UCF as we welcome you back here on the American Digital Network. And a chance now to catch up with ECU head coach Nicole Muehling.
Coach Muehling, we talked about the scoring slump that the team has been in ahead of this game. 25% from the floor in the first half. What does the team need to do to get better looks offensively?
I just think we're getting the looks that we want. We just got to take our time, have that shot confidence, and knock it down.
Who are you going to call on to start the scoring?
Ari and Monk for sure. I think they're going to get it going for us.
And then what do you need to do defensively to continue to attack their press?
Offensively, to attack, defensively, we need to rebound for sure. We're not doing a really good job of rebounding. They have 10 offensive rebounds at the half. That's way too many. And also just getting 50-50 balls. We got to be tougher than them, get on the floor and get those 50-50 balls and create transition offense for us the other way.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Lincoln?
Thank you, Aaron. We take a look back at some of the highlights of the opening half. And, well, a slow start early on, but this has been a grind between these two teams. Defense has helped keep it close on both ends.
Defense and offensive rebounding for the Knights. The Knights have been very damaging on the boards with 12 rebounds. Their defense has been active, especially up front, which has gotten them a lot of quick buckets. There you have Monk that's been, all everything for them. And then also Williams on the outside.
Well, we knew Monk and Williams would be providing a lot of scoring in this one. The question is who else would step up? And for UCF, the question maybe in the second half, who steps up for KK Wright, who her big emphasis in the offseason had been adding to her offensive game. Now she'll need some of her teammates to do the same. When you look at the first half stats, what stands out to you?
Well, obviously the rebound, which I talked about earlier, and then the fact that ECU really isn't shooting the ball very well. From two-point range, 26% is not going to get the job done. Also, the points in the paint for UCF, they've got to get the ball out of the paint, force UCF to shoot the outside shot.
So a 5-point lead right now for UCF on the road. Can they improve to 6-0, or can the Pirates prove to be spoilers here near the end of January?
More than 7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 22 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power 6 conference known as the American, powered by determination.
Powerful minds, strong in mind,
strong in body.
The American is dedicated to promoting success
through a healthy, powerful mind.
If it is okay to seek help
for injuries we can see, then it needs to be okay
to seek help for injuries
we can't see.
Mental health awareness is important because I think a lot of times it goes unnoticed in college athletics.
We look after our bodies, and it's just as important to look after our mental health.
It's time to end the stigma
related to mental health
and seeking help.
End the stigma.
At the American, we know that power isn't for the faint of heart. Power is reserved for the go-getters, the team players, and those who are hungry for victory. We know power because we are power. Join us for the 2019 American Athletic Conference Women's Basketball Championship, March 8th through the 11th at the Mohegan Sun Arena in Uncasville, Connecticut.
Both teams have emerged from the locker room. Thanks to both head coaches for checking in with Aaron. Lincoln Rose, along with Angela Beck, back with you here on the American Digital Network. It's our first chance to see these two teams in person here on ADN. Look forward to following them the rest of the way here in conference play. But for ECU, I think surpassing some expectations, and we are seeing right now how they have been able to compete with anybody when they're at home.
Well, Coach Mealing's got them mentally ready, which is tough. But, you know, they're good at home, and I think they have a lot of confidence. Obviously, with Frazier and Monk playing like they are, Williams on the outside, they've got a three-man combination there. They just need to do better on the offensive rebounds, keep those guys off the glass, and hit a few more shots. Across the way, Coach Abe will point to now these past 3 years how her staff, really so many people she can rely on, in part because everybody on her staff played for her. You had Tani Valerio, who played at Missouri State. You have former players from Hofstra. The one exception, though, Nikesha Sales, you'll forgive that hire. Of course, the former UConn Husky, an 8-time WNBA All-Star. What a brilliant hire for her to get Sales in there, and she's been there now for 3 years, so she's getting her coaches to stick around. But one of the things I want to notice maybe in the second half is that how she lets her assistants actually do the subbing. So one of them's in charge of the defensive posts and one of them's in the offense. Like Tani's in charge of the guards, so she'll just shove guards in whenever she feels like it. They have gone 11 deep already, so if you see their assistants pulling kids off the bench and putting them in, she gives them the green light, which I think is unique. Meanwhile, entering this season, Nicole Mealing was the only returning coach for ECU. There were several first-year hires. Mentioned Chad Killinger, a former head coach in his past. Celeste Stewart, a former point guard at ECU, and she was all-conference, is in her first year. And Ebony Fields started the year as a video assistant. She, too, a part of that Francis Marion connection that Nicole Mealing and before that Heather Macy had, but she's been promoted to an assistant coach as well, as the dominoes have all fallen. So Knights with an early stop on their first defensive possession. Well, that was Green with that little stab hook that she had. It just rolled right off the rim, but great take for the early going. It's important for ECU right now to get on the board, get a good start, because I think they kind of wore down as the half went because they shoved 11 players in the matchup. So now I think they need to get a really good start in this third quarter. The Knights have played already 11 in this ball game. We've seen ECU with 9. Again, obviously, KK Wright, the player who went down and the leading scorer for UCF this year, is back on the floor right now in what was just a 2-score lead at halftime. She's like, hello, don't forget about me. I'm back. Well, again, Coach talked to her and said we needed to be less unselfish. We need you to take more shots instead of deferring to your teammates. And so she was in the gym all the offseason. And as a result, throughout the spring and summer, started to improve her offensive game, and we have seen that this year as KK averaging 19 a ball game. I like Coach Abe's halftime talk saying, well, we'll put her in depending on the score. Well, I guess that 5-point score was just too much. I didn't notice. Did the score change while they were in the locker room? It really didn't. So I'm not sure. I think was she lying? No, they don't lie. Coaches don't lie. Aaron Summers asking all the right questions, and Coach Abe probably making that choice while back in the locker room. And there's KK just inside the arc. She does have a little bit of a hobble if you watch her on her ankle there. Not very clean, just kind of a little bit of, I'm sure that tape is pretty tight on her right now, so they obviously don't want to re-injure her. I don't see her to get a lot of minutes here. Hopefully, you know, I'm sure she's got the let's put them away kind of thing because of UConn next. If we're playing during recess after lunch and you're a team captain, do you choose a hobbled KK Wright or a healthy me? Oh, you're not even in consideration. Appreciate your honesty. Yeah. Well, this has been all UCF. It's their largest lead of the ball game. A 5-point lead at halftime has already swollen to an 11-point advantage for the Knights. KK Wright back in the mix, and the Knights looking to stay unbeaten in conference play.
People say we're big. Well, what is big? It's an energy, an opportunity. So go on, dream big, because big is just the beginning.
I got it.
There's a lot to do out there. You can either talk about it or you can do something about it.
At ECU, we choose to do things, and we can help you do just about anything. Come here to keep hometowns thriving, hearts beating, or make waves across the world. Wherever you're headed, this ship can get you there. With 30,000 of us doing so much, you won't find anyone sitting around. You ready?
This is our game, our moment, our time. We work hard and play harder. We stay loyal to the game and to our team. We are power, American power. The American, powered by determination.
Scores!
3 strikeouts in a row.
Dominance for a 4th straight year. Quaso from 30!
Unbelievable. And be able to celebrate this type of championship.
There's the record breaker. They are the champions of the American.
Well, we've been treated to some good ones already here on the American Digital Network, and we will be back in Greenville with our ADN crew on Groundhog's Day when they welcome Tulane to town. But we're in Dallas on Saturday at noon, start time Central on the campus of SMU. They'll welcome the Bulls of USF. Different storylines there. Of course, USF now has had the injury bug bite them, but that has not been an excuse for Jose Fernandez's group as they are starting to find their stride. Travis Mays and company will try to defend their home court. Busy slate to look forward to as we continue our live coverage of American Athletic Conference women's basketball.
So the energy level is not quite as great as it was early on in the early going for ECU. I'm not sure what's going on here, but they need to pick it up.
It's a 6-0 start for UCF here in the third quarter. From the left elbow, and it is now an 8-0 start as Kamisha Paul able to chime in, the senior.
I think it was a smart move for coach to put KK in, just gave him a little bit of a spark, and then she took her out and put her on the bench and said, you guys take over.
The Pirates with their first 2 points now from a familiar source. Monk now in double-digit scoring.
Yeah, Monk just needs a little help from the rest of the troops. Get another offensive rebound, you know, just make something happen. Give them energy.
ECU had started 0 for 4 from the floor, while UCF 4 for 6 here in the third quarter. That helped UCF establish a double-digit lead, still intact right now. Working it in, 14-footer, no, but another offensive rebound as that one hauled in by Omakore. They are thrilled to have Tolu back this year, the now fourth-year junior.
Yeah, I haven't seen a lot from Tolu yet in this game. 1 for 1, but I'd like to see them go to her just a little bit more on the inside.
Kamisha Paul, a long 2 along the baseline.
Well, UCF's scoring percentage has really been hiked up here in the third quarter.
Mentioned UCF is one of the top 10 teams in the nation in terms of fewest points allowed. Alex Frazier, they'll need more of that.
Alex Frazier is a rhythm shooter. If she gets her rhythm, it's good.
2-on-1, and Monk probably should have kept it.
Yeah, just a little bit too fancy, maybe gotten away with a little travel call there. Not even made it down to half court, though. She's looking a little tired here.
Check in with Aaron.
UCF forward Niala Schuler doesn't score a lot of points, but she does everything else for the Knights. She's the vocal leader, telling everyone where to go, talking in the huddles and calling plays. Defensively, Coach Abe said she's humongous. She said Schuler is very unselfish and the players respect her. When she talks, they listen to her. Lincoln?
Yeah, that was well coordinated between Aaron and Schuler right there as the fifth-year senior comes up with the score. And we talked about she's already working on her graduate degree. 2-on-2 the other way. Little 13-footer will drop through for Diamond Battles.
Well, this is what I'm talking about. You know, UCF getting rhythm, and they have total rhythm right now. They've got ECF back on the back of their heels. They're very flat on defense. They're pretty flat on offense. I don't know if a timeout's in order, but something's in order for them to really, they need to get this game tightened up.
Quick release, finds the angle. Oh, unofficially a geometry major there, Raven Johnson.
She must have been listening to me. Nice bank shot from nice angle.
And leaving her feet will be called for the foul, Desiree Corbin. Did not need much separation for that shot. And now you see the line change really for both teams. Tempo has picked up. And let's see who can maintain the effort right now with 12-point lead for UCF.
I think the thing about UCF is that they're very efficient, and the thing that's scary for ECU is they're so efficient that if ECU doesn't get this thing tightened up, they're going to have some difficulty going down the stretch.
Let's check back in with Aaron.
The Knights are playing shut down D this season. 8 times this season, UCF has held its opponents to under 50 points. Their opponents are only scoring 52.4 points on average a game. Coach Abe said their defense is anchored by their press, and with the depth that they have on their team this year, nobody ever gets tired. So here's our next question. What is the fewest points UCF has allowed in a game this season?
Aaron, thank you. And of course, the previous answer had been about ECU and how well they've played at home, looking to lock up another winning season. Of course, last year they went 11-5 here in Greenville. They answered 32 winning seasons in Greenville over the past 42 years. Could the Pirates have a comeback and lock up yet another winning campaign with an upset today against the visiting Knights?
Strong in mind, strong in body, strong in school, sport, life.
The grind is 10% physical and 90% mental.
The mind is the power.
The body is a means to jump higher, run faster,
be smarter, and live longer.
There is no weakness when it comes to seeking help.
We are stronger together.
So let's talk about it.
A waterfall starts with one drop.
Change starts with one person.
The American is dedicated to ending the stigma related to mental health
and promoting success through a healthy, powerful mind.
Promoting success through a healthy, powerful mind.
Power comes in all forms.
Power is a big tackle,
a big save, a clutch hit,
or a game-winning shot.
Power is also standing up for what is right.
There is power in the sportsmanship that is displayed across the American.
Power is respecting opponents,
officials,
student athletes,
coaches, and team representatives.
Power is not tolerating racial or ethnic comments,
profanities, or other improper actions while at the game.
The American.
Power for life.
The American. Power for life.
The American.
Power for life.
UCF up by a dozen. The Knights on the road today are just 1 of 6 from beyond the arc in this ball game, but the difference is that's not really their identity this year. They have so much more presence in the paint with everybody healthy.
Yeah, they share the ball really well. Make sure they get the ball to the open shooter. They take whatever you give them, but more importantly, they get points from their bench and they get energy from their bench. They have 12 points from their bench tonight, 16 points in the paint, so that kind of tells the story.
And McDonald averaging almost 8 points a ball game is one of your 6 active seniors this year for the Knights. Coach Abe also has Jalen Williams, a transfer from Penn State, who we'll see complete her eligibility next year.
Obviously, if you have the affordability to be able to play everybody, it makes you really have a happy team because everyone gets a little piece of the pie, and good job for her for giving everybody the confidence to do that.
Well, being able to play 11 also means that defense can stay up-tempo. As players fatigue, you've got another fresh body off the bench.
A good point, and look at their feet and their toes right now. They're up on their toes. They're making things happen. And that 3-2 defense is so hard to go against unless you overload the baseline where it's weak. or you go to the middle where it's weak. And so far, haven't seen the ball go to the baseline that often.
And Masani Kaba, the now seasoned 6'3" sophomore out of Massachusetts. She actually knew Coach Abe and the staff back when they were at Albany. Kaba, an injury early in her career, bounced back quite nicely last year as a freshman. And that shot just won't go down. Pirates with a stop. Let's see if they can start chipping away at a 14-point deficit, as this will stay with ECU. So right now, 10 points for Lashonda Monk, another 6 for Williams. Just 3 other Pirates have scored to combine for the remaining 11 points. Will a third score emerge here in a comeback effort in the second half? Mid-range denied, as Thigpen got a hand on it, shutting down the opportunity from Nicole Hope.
I think if they had some baseline runners against this defense, they would have more open shots. Let's see the baseline, how open it is.
Oh, determined, and that ball takes a victory lap before falling through for Green.
Well, her shot looks the same every time. It's got a lot of touch and a lot of roll.
Kaba will work her way without the ball into the post, where you also find Brittany Smith. And Thigpen no-look pass and can't connect. Turns it over.
Well, I was going to talk about the turnovers, because really this has been a pretty well-played game as far as turnovers goes. Nine turnovers for ECU and only 8 turnovers for UCF. And single-digit turnovers in the women's game is always good to see.
Both teams will huddle up. Now 41-29, this was a 5-point lead for UCF at halftime. Lashonda Monk has just checked back into the ballgame for ECU, and Coach Mealy mentioning Monk has such a strong voice as just a sophomore now, has really grown as a leader for these Pirates. We talk about UCF, only 1 of 6 from beyond the arc, but again, the paint on the road is where they can earn their scholarship night in, night out.
Like Coach talked about in the conference call this week, most of it comes out of transition. There's Thigpen just doing a stop and pop. But generally, they're getting it from the front of the press. That 3-2 defense, which is KK Wright and Diamond Battles.
They have doubled up ECU 16-8, as you see on your screen.
We haven't talked much about Battles, but Battles has been a nice addition as a freshman. She's got lots of athleticism. She's got quick ups, and she's got good hands. So that's a good. It's the first time I've seen her this year, and she looks really good.
Again, Battles, a reminder of just how much talent is in Florida. Meanwhile, you and I just watched the USF team the other day that only has 1 active player from the state of Florida because they have such a pipeline overseas for Coach Fernandez. But UCF, the moment that Coach Abe landed in Orlando a few years back, she wanted to keep as much talent at home as possible. Still has an eye at the national recruiting scene as well.
What I like about that is they just got the ball off the rebound. They pulled it out, ate some more clock up, didn't get the shot maybe they necessarily wanted. Coach Abe's kind of upset about that, but they do show a great deal of discipline this early in the season.
So Monk will back things up, still 20 to shoot.
So that 3-guard front doesn't allow that wing pass. They're going to have to step someone up into the high post like that and then overload that baseline.
Monk trying to free herself with Kamisha Paul out to Williams. That shot clock is now down to 2. Just in time, it'll draw iron, and then a foul will lock it up for UCF as Green will pick up the whistle.
Well, Monk did all she could in that series, but Coach needs to let her make a pass and just cut to the baseline, get behind the defense, and run either side that is passed. She needs to kind of loosen up and take off where they can't find her.
Pirates 10-7 on the year, 8-2 though at home. Got off to a nice start against one of the top 2 teams in the conference this year here against UCF, a 5-point deficit at halftime, but UCF caught some fire or some wind in their sails right there to start the 3rd quarter and have been hanging on to a double-digit advantage just about ever since now in the final minute of this 3rd frame.
Well, it kind of goes to show you how programs change. You know, ECU has a lead in the series 9-1.
Here at home, yeah, 12-8 overall.
Yeah, but then UCF has won the last 3, and UCF has really emerged here as of late, and so it's been difficult for ECU to compete.
I think we take for granted what Coach Abe has done, because we've seen the entire athletic department under Danny White there in Orlando really flourish. Of course, football in the fall dominates headlines, but a nice showing by the volleyball program, men's and women's soccer. It just flows right into basketball season. But this was a team that had been struggling. They do make the WNIT last year, have not been to the NCAA tournament since 2011. But I think pretty soon, NCAA and WNIT year in, year out is going to be the minimum standard for Coach Abe and her group.
Well, the AD there at UCF has done an outstanding job of hiring coaches, and I hope they can keep him as much as everyone's been stealing his coaches. You know, he's done an outstanding job getting, you know, Frost from, you know, when he had Frost, and obviously now he's at Nebraska.
So right now, a 6-9 third quarter in favor of UCF. Only thing holding the Knights back at the moment is 4 turnovers over the past 4 minutes. But ECU's been in a bit of a drought over the past 2.5 minutes. Let's see if Lashonda Monk and company can again find their stride with 3 seconds to go here in the third.
Well, that's great individual effort by Monk. She's at the top of the key. She basically splits the entire defense and goes in and does an up and under and gets to the line.
We've only seen 6 total free throws between these two teams so far. As ECU now 3 of 5, Monk 1 of 3. Now has 11 points.
So far, easy game to call, and limited turnovers makes a nice game to watch.
You really saw Lashonda last year have a breakout game, just was all over the court. As UCF, a 5-point lead at the half, will double heading into the fourth quarter. They lead by 10 on the road here in Greenville, with at least 10 minutes remaining here on the American Digital Network.
People say we're big. Well, what is big?
This is big.
It's an energy. An opportunity. So go on. Dream big. Because big is just the beginning.
I got it. This is big.
There's a lot to do out there. You can either talk about it or you can do something about it. At ECU, we choose to do things. And we can help you do just about anything. Come here to keep hometowns thriving, hearts beating, or make waves across the world. Wherever you're headed, this ship can get you there. With 30,000 of us doing so much, you won't find anyone sitting around. You ready?
Powerful minds, strong in mind, strong in body. The American is dedicated to promoting success
through a healthy, powerful mind.
If it is okay to seek help
for injuries we can see,
then it needs to be okay to seek help for injuries we can't see. Mental health awareness is important because I think a lot of times it goes unnoticed in college athletics.
We look after our bodies, and it's just as important to look after our mental health.
It's time to end the stigma
related to mental health
and seeking help. End the stigma.
More than 7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 22 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power 6 conference known as the American, powered by determination.
Well, the Pirates down by 10 entering the fourth quarter in our matchup tonight here on the American Digital Network. And a reminder, a full slate still to go as long as conference play continues. We've got a game each midweek as well as weekend. In fact, we will double down here on the 29th and the 30th, trips to Tulsa as well as Tampa We'll see the Owls, the Golden Hurricane, the Bearcats, as well as the Bulls. We'll see the Bulls even beforehand this weekend as they make the trip out to Dallas. Look forward to all that coverage here on the American Digital Network as we continue to spotlight some of the top teams in the American. Tonight, ECU and UCF. And the question will be, are we going to see KK Wright here in the fourth quarter, or is Coach Abe going to let her try to rest that ankle as long as they can maintain a 3 or 4 score lead? And Monk may put that into question.
I think if that starts to happen, you'll see her come off the bench. I definitely don't feel like she wants us to get too tight. But that's what Monk does best in transition, is just stopping and popping.
Her third triple now of the ball game. And the Knights with an answer, that one coming from Sydney McDonald, the senior. Let's check back in with Aaron Summers.
Despite the adversity that ECU has dealt with this season, Coach Mealing said the vets have done a good job handling it. They're very mature and they have stayed positive. She said that the team has continued to play hard regardless of what the score says. While the team may be down, they're never out, and the players understand that. Coach Mealing said that they always are going to give themselves a chance at the end of the game. You can see it in their huddles as Coach Mealing spent some time really breaking down the plays that they wanted to run here in the last quarter of play. Lincoln?
Well, effort certainly is never a question in a team like ECU, where in their loss against Memphis, they had 27 offensive rebounds. They continue to fight for every ball, and they'll need to do so again here in the fourth quarter.
Going into the game, Coach wanted them to handle the pressure, and I think I gave them a good check that they've done that. Be aggressive. I think they can be more aggressive, and I'm seeing that here in the fourth quarter. Make shots. You know, that still has to improve, but play hard. That's what they've been doing. They've been playing hard and never give up. That's what you saw right there.
They spent almost the entire third quarter, did the Pirates down by double digits, but so easily, if they could put a run together here, it could be a brand new ball game with plenty of time left.
Just not getting Monk off the top. She needs to move.
Monk creates her own look. Another offensive rebound. And denied along the baseline. They'll call it a tie-up as Raven Johnson went inside, but the Knights able to hold her up.
Yeah, you know, against a zone, it's just good to have a lot of player movement. This time, oh yeah, they get locked up with the arms. A little extracurricular activity. There's Monk on a wing.
Sophomore. And again, another contested shot by this defense of UCF.
When we talk about efficiency, we talk about how you block out, and it's really been one and done for ECU. Once they shoot that ball, UCF has basically owned the glass.
Surprised to see Schuler out there on the floor. She's been averaging, feels like, almost 30-plus minutes a ball game. And it's a well-conditioned group out of Orlando. We'll call it a jump stop as opposed to a travel, and ultimately a moot point as the Knights with the rebound. Well, neither team has found a field goal over the past 2 minutes. It has had us locked up at a 10-point affair at the moment. UCF just trying to hold off the Pirates here before colliding with UConn on Sunday, which could be a battle of unbeatens in conference play. Monk looking for her fourth three-pointer. That one won't go down.
That's her spot.
No reason to force up a quick shot if you're UCF.
Well, this is what they've been patented to do, is just be under control, have the poise, make the right decisions.
Mentioned being under control. Paul, after giving up that ball, is going to be called for the offensive foul, which will give it back over to ECU. Masani Kaba, thick pin back on.
Coach is extending the defense right now to try to slow him up.
Monk with the late dish. And a good look as she helps set up Salita Green.
I like Salita Green. She's got a great game, and she mixes it up. Has great touch for a big girl.
Gives her 8 points for the ball game. Second leading scorer now behind Monk's 15. ECU had been 0 for 6 before that shot from Green. And a walk now for the Knights. Again, this is where the Pirates perhaps can start to take advantage of some miscues by UCF and pull back in this ball game. With still 6 minutes to go.
Well, he broke it to single digits, and we haven't seen that in a while. So they're in striking distance. 6 minutes to go.
Trailed by as many as 15 back in the third quarter.
See if we can get some player movement here.
Turnovers the last 2 possessions for UCF. And the left-handed stroke off the mark. We'll call it a pass. Ultimately a foul now on UCF as Johnson was able to haul in that ball. And again, glad to see Raven Johnson. She was one of the question marks, along with a couple of others, including Destiny Campbell, the second-year senior, and Tamia Hicks, the sophomore. Just couldn't field it cleanly, and both these defenses, similar mindset. The moment that ball is in doubt, you're going to have bodies flying at it.
Well, first player on the floor, every coach's dream to get somebody to dive on the floor and get the loose ball. It's just, they're just playing to the strength of the defense by feeding it there.
Again, the most recent trivia question from Aaron was, what's the fewest points that UCF has allowed this year? Give you another breath to try to check in with your answer before I spoil it for you. It was back at the end of November. And at the moment, ECU hasn't quite crossed that threshold, if that helps. 15-footer on the money for Niala Schuler, who is med school bound. A lot of smart players that Coach Abe's really proud of. It's also probably helped on the defensive end. They can understand when she changes schemes up, a sharp group.
Yeah, she's the floor leader. She's the player that can take that kind of shot. You know, game's getting a little tight. That's kind of a testy shot. You have to have somebody with a lot of confidence, and Schuler's got it.
And with that, 37 points now for ECU in this ball game. Coach Abe's defense held UT Chattanooga back on November 30th to just 37. And the Pirates will eclipse that number. That was a 75-37 win for the Knights, as UCF has held 16 of its first 18 opponents to 60 points or fewer. That seems likely to happen again here today.
Well, almost a steal by Monk. I love how they have her in that. It's a 1-2-1-1 defense with Monk at the backside looking to steal it.
Kaba, a little move to her left, frees up the baseline to her right, and the strong move for the sophomore.
Little show and go. Show the defense and then go weak side.
And back to a double-digit advantage for the Knights. And you never know if offense is going to make the trip, but defense tends to travel quite well, even to some tough arenas like here in Greenville. Begging for the look out there is Frazier. Gets rid of it in time, and it is a violation. Did not scrape the rim on the way down.
Yeah, ECU's just struggled a little bit against this 3-guard front. They need to have a couple different looks.
UCF has held the Pirates to just 18 second-half points. Again, led by 5 at the half, 10 at the end of the third quarter, and still that 10-point lead currently intact here on the road for UCF.
Yeah, 38 points is a pretty efficient defense for UCF, with Monk getting 17 points of it, but everyone else getting kind of stymied. You know, they aren't able to get an offense going on the inside.
Well, let's use this opportunity to check back in courtside with Aaron.
We're coming down to the wire here at ECU. Make sure you vote for the player of the game. We'll announce who the MVP is at the end of the game.
Aaron, thank you. She'll have a chance to chat with the winning head coach and one of our top players in this one. Right now, the Knights perhaps 4.5 minutes away from improving to 6-0 in league play.
This is our game, our moment, our time. We work hard and play harder. We stay loyal to the game and to our team. We are power, American power. The American, powered by determination.
Scores!
3 strikeouts in a row.
Dominance for a 4th straight year. Hueso from 30!
Unbelievable. And be able to celebrate this type of championship.
There's the record breaker. They are the champions of the American.
More than 7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 22 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power 6 conference known as the American, powered by determination.
The Knights right now up by 10 on the road. No surprise with 6 seniors. Niala Schuler, one of them, helping lead the way for UCF already. A double-double, 10 points, 10 rebounds with time to spare. She's just averaging 3 points, but about 8 rebounds a ball game. And we mentioned she already has her undergraduate degree in hand and continues to pursue her academics. We expect we'll eventually be calling her Dr. Schuler. Right now, Monk with 17 points, the game high, and they still need more from the sophomore.
Yeah, Green and Schuler, Green and Williams and Frazier, have contributed, but not enough. They need double-digit scores out of somebody else, and just having one player in double digits it's tough to win.
Well, ECU is shooting 26% on its home court. And while they have forced turnovers, made some big stops, in fact, a turnover forced right here on a foul on UCF. They just haven't been able to capitalize enough on those opportunities.
Don't count them out, though. Monk's pretty fired up about that turnover.
That's a 3-score ball game. Monk fires up a 3, looking for her 4th of the ball game, but it wouldn't go down. Rebound hauled in for Schuler to add to her double-double outing.
Yeah, she knows she missed one there. That's definitely her sweet spot. I just like the way that UCF carries itself. They, I think because they have so much confidence in each other and they're so deep, and they have 5 different people contributing on different occasions, it's just pretty fluid.
You don't need to foul yet. Again, just a 3-score ball game, but something to think about. ECU just now picked up only its 2nd foul. Monk with another steal. 3-on-1. Lashonda can't get it to go, but she'll go back to the free throw line.
Well, I don't think she was going to give that one up. She went and high-fived her coach there on the bench. Last time she gave it up, she turned it over. So this time, she was taking it.
And that foul on L'Oreal Wilson. You see Monk's numbers. She's also 6 of 8 from the free throw line. She's now made 7 straight free throws after missing her first 2 on the day.
I don't think that Coach Abe's all that relaxed right now. She's
you need to get her back to the palm trees.
She's definitely not happy. She's not happy giving up points, period, because that's the kind of coach she is. But then this is a ball game right now. 4 minutes to go. Ball game.
And the Knights are going to talk this one over. And again, it's been a while since this was a single-digit ball game within a possession or two. In fact, UCF has not trailed today here on the road. Lincoln Rose, Angela back with you. Aaron Summers courtside as well. But anybody who thought UCF at 5-0 was just going to come in here and easily claim that 6th win, the Pirates have made them to work. And if the Knights can escape a win here, perhaps it makes them better for that matchup against UConn on Sunday on ESPN2.
Well, exactly, but I'm sure they're not trying to escape a win here. But when you have Monk on the floor, you have a leader like that says never quit, and she's like a coach on the floor. They're in every ball game. So I like the way the coaches prepared them. They did have a couple lulls in this game, but they're definitely in this game, and the Knights got their work cut out for them.
Into traffic. This is the defense we've become accustomed to from the Pirates. Can they force another turnover? But they give it right back. What's the hurry?
Well, she kind of, she saw Monk in the middle and just, did the one up and over. And I had a rule no up and overs. You had to find a lane. And there was no lane there. So the answer to that is there was no hurry. You can't afford to turn the ball over right now.
2-score ball game. Inside of 4 minutes, Kamisha Paul will come back on and play some diamond battles.
So mentality-wise, that was a good fake charge right. Oh, that was big time. Right there, big time.
Justice G comes through with the steal, with the score, and a foul to boot.
Extremely heady play by everybody. I've seen guards go in there and fake that charge. She went up and bellied up, faked like she got charged, and then they had the up and over, and they got the steal on the backside.
Well, how small was Justice G's community of Timmonsville, South Carolina? She was on varsity in 7th grade in high school. Eventually a Class A Player of the Year, and it is now a 1-score ball game. And this defense is not going to let down here in crunch time. Within 3, pressure on UCF now.
I haven't seen the ball in this quarter court for a long time. Nobody wants to take the shot right now. I feel the heat right now.
6 seconds to shoot. And a blocking foul. The decision on a bang-bang play, but I don't think Johnson had position outside that restricted area.
Well, that's a bailout, if that is, because they had nothing on that play. There was no shot. There was nowhere to pass it.
Well, now it's not so bad that ECU has been slow to accumulate fouls. It's just now its 4th team foul. And a nice little confidence builder for the Knights. Give 2 more to Wilson.
That's a big shot by L'Oreal Wilson. Pressure shot, high arcer.
Just her 3rd shot attempted of the ball game. Her first 2 points of the night, but a big pair. 2-score lead.
See, you got to move.
Inside 3 minutes, the ball right where you want it with Lashonda Monk.
They're not letting her have it.
That's a long 2, and it does not fall for G. Offensive putback, no. Kaba with the rebound. Now a 5-on-4 advantage for UCF.
That was a good rebound for Corbin, but she brought it down. You can't bring it down, you got to keep it up.
And you cannot bounce a pass with Monk in the area.
She will not be denied. You better come to your pass when she's playing that lane. Amazing defense by Monk.
There better be a pass with a purpose if you're going to throw it in the same area code as Lashonda Monk. Your all-time record holder for a single season, or pardon me, a single game with 10 steals last year in a contest. And that may not be her final theft. She's averaging 4, one of the top players in the nation defensively. It is a 16-9 fourth quarter for the Pirates. Again, they are back within 3. So 2:13 to go. Pirates, again, back-to-back losses against Tulsa and Memphis, but are back home where they've won 8 of their 10 games so far this year, and they have not given up.
I'll tell you what, I'm so impressed with, I kind of felt like they just took themselves out and their energy was down, but I guess they were kind of saving it, and they know how much they've got to give and how much more they have left in their tank. And for Monk, you know, the kind of game she's put out there, she saved just enough for the last, and she's not going to give up. So this is a really great comeback for ECU against a very good team. I don't care if you're on your home floor or not. They've got these guys right there where they want to have them, and it's one of the best teams in the league. So great coaching and great effort by ECU.
Pirates have forced 5 turnovers in the last 3 minutes now. Knights have struggled to get off a shot, but they have made their last 3.
It's not necessary to foul here. Just get a stop.
And again, deja vu, Lashonda Monk. It's a 1-point ball game.
She was sleeping on the backside. They didn't see her. She's so little. Knifed the passing lane and took it straight down the line to the hole.
You just can't make those cross-court passes.
UCF looks like they're in disarray.
Big pin guarded by Monk. Inside to Kaba. They double down on her. Here's KK Wright. Kaba with the rebound, and Kaba is going to the free throw line.
KK Wright goes back in the lineup here with 1 minute and 45 seconds to go in the game. She's the one taking the shot there off the wing. It's just a tough position for her to be in, being on the bench most of the game. Good rebound there inside by Kaba. Pressure free throw right there. This one will put them up by 3 with 1:15 to go. This is where I want Monk to go, give it up and get it back. You know, run the baseline, go somewhere. They're gonna cover her up top. She's got to go somewhere. She's got to move.
Shaunda Monks already matched her career high 25 points that came against Wake Forest back in November. As the Pirates are at the line, I think you still try to make both of these free throws. At the moment, down by 3. Still time left.
Well, we haven't heard a lot from Raven Johnson, but that was a good cut to the basket and a strong physical move to the hole.
And Raven averages 13 points, missed the game against Memphis the other night. They're happy to have her back.
That's a good shot for her. She's a 65% free throw shooter. Not great on the year, so big take there and bigger take now.
Back within 1. And again, the best part of putting points on the board, you get to set up your defense. With that said, Paul able to bring it up the floor, but under pressure. Poked loose into the backcourt. Knights recover, shot clock starting to melt down. KK Wright. And she's going to go to the free throw line. Again, she was slow to get up early in this ball game. Right now, just tying that shoe.
Well, that was a tough shot for KK Wright. First of all, scouting report is pressure UCF right now because they're not handling this pressure, but she goes off the opposite foot there because I think she's protecting her right ankle, and so that's a tough shot for her, and that's one reason she doesn't hit it.
KK's only played 13 minutes tonight, 6 points, 4 rebounds to show for it. Her first free throws this evening. These will just be the 5th and 6th free throw of the night attempted by the Knights. Right now, 5 for 5.
Well, these are big free throws for the Knights. Just coming in and coming off the bench. It's great follow-through, pressure shots by KK, and she definitely is not in any position to go back on that floor.
As you see, she's a little hobbled. And Coach Abe's going to look at her right in the eyes and ask if you can keep going. I think KK's staying in. With 37 seconds remaining, those were big free throws. It means ECU, even with a three-pointer, can only tie this game.
Yeah, I'm thinking offense for defense. I take KK out on defense, put somebody else in there, and pull her back in. And if you get the ball back, you know. But obviously, they took the ball inside last time. ECU, will they go to Monk? You know, will they try to? I mean, if she's got the kind of, you know, ice in her veins that she can take it from anywhere, and I wouldn't. If I could see her taking a NBA 3 on this turn, but if they could slip her behind, which they haven't done most of the game, that would be the best.
Both teams are in the bonus the rest of the way here. ECU has outscored UCF 20-13 here in the fourth. Pirates had not scored more than 12 in a quarter before now. Best quarter we had seen had been UCF in that third quarter, putting up 16.
Well, defensively, look for them to stay in this stingy 3-2 defense. Raven Johnson was big on the last series, so.
Give a nod to our officials. Denise Brooks with the ball right now. Heading up the crew of Brian Burnett as well as Frank Sterator. Final half minute of regulation. 3-point ball game. Pirates can tie with a 3. They'll take a long 2. It's contested, but it's good. Alex Frazier somehow fires one up over the outstretched arm of the defender. And again, ECU is within 1.
That's called hang time. I don't know if we could take that in slow-mo, but she's got hang time. She just leaps up so high, and then she gets that high arcer in. So here she is. Thank you for the slow-mo here. We're going to get it. There she goes. She gets up, and she just hangs it up there with the highest arcing shot.
And it again means that ECU can set up its defense, although it looks like they may wait until they reach half court. We'll see what's the game plan here.
Well, I think the Knights will probably take it at half court.
Yeah, that's exactly the case. And then that's a big relief for them.
And obviously you want to get a quick foul. I mean, I would get a quick foul because they can, you know, take the whole time off. So I'm going to get a quick foul if I don't get a steal on the inbounds.
Shot clock is done. And there's the foul that will continue the bonus here. 7th team foul. So the 1-and-1.
Well, this hasn't been easy for UCF. They've had to get, you know, 6 of their points here from the free throw line and with clutch free throws. So here again, game's on the line.
I said the 1-and-1. Obviously 2 shots these days here with the quarters. And one more for Thigpen. She's got 7 points now.
Thigpen's been quite a utility player for him, but these are big shots, and she showed a lot of confidence in that.
ECU has not led tonight, and with that free throw, they will not be able to capture that first lead with a triple.
So ECU will take it all out on the side and hopefully get a screen for Monk or Williams, either one of those guys. I haven't seen Williams here lately, so.
Wright, Kamba, Thigpen, Schuler, Paul out there on the floor for UCF. G, Frazier, Monk, Johnson, and Corbin for the Pirates. Monk already a career high 25-point performance for a second time this year. And they are still looking for more. She has 3 3-pointers in this ball game. Williams is another one of your 3-point threats, but she's not on the floor right now for ECU.
Yeah, I'm not sure why she's not inserted here, but there she's in. There she is.
And she did sub in during that timeout.
Yeah, she missed it.
Still have time. G to tie. Got it. Brand new ball game. Inside 10 seconds to go here in the fourth. Knights still with a chance to win. And we are headed to overtime.
Wow. I'm speechless. What a shot out of the corner by G. I mean, it's a tough pass. She steps back and banks it. She up the glass.
She had only made 4 3-pointers all year.
So why wouldn't you pick her to shoot the game winner?
We're not ready to say goodbye to this one just yet. Overtime when we come back here on ADN.
People say we're big. Well, what is big?
This is big.
It's an energy. An opportunity.
This is big, baby!
So go on. Dream big. Because big is just the beginning.
I got it. This is big.
There's a lot to do out there. You can either talk about it, or you can do something about it. At ECU, we choose to do things. And we can help you do just about anything. Come here to keep hometowns thriving, hearts beating, or make waves across the world. Wherever you're headed, this ship can get you there. With 30,000 of us doing so much, you won't find anyone sitting around. You ready?
Well, Nicole Mealing's Pirates tie it up. Justice G this year had made just 4 of her first 27 attempts from beyond the arc. So naturally, she's the one who fires up the shot that sends us to overtime.
Well, that cross-court pass to her was made you hold your breath. And then that step back deep corner shot. I mean, it's difficult. So what an amazing shot. What resilience they've shown. What determination. Look at the coach on the sideline. Coach has done an amazing job, Mealing, of keeping her kids calm and fighting for every bit of this. And it really, obviously, we talk a lot about Monk, but Frazier, Williams, Green, and G, I mean, they all have contributed. So I don't know. I feel like KK Wright's not she's not good to go. Now, she might prove me wrong, but she does not look good. I would not want to get her injured.
But she does have Masani Kaba, the talented sophomore. Those two teammates for a second straight year.
If she can do the little things and keep herself out of harm's way, then good. But she shouldn't do anything that would hurt herself.
Not just 25 points for Lashonda Monk, but they needed each and every one of those 8 steals that she has here today to give them a chance for that 10-point comeback in the fourth quarter. As the rebound fought for and hauled in by Corbin.
Monk's shoe came off.
And she's got a flat tire.
A little more player movement now.
Inside. And a walk as the seat was pulled out from under Raven Johnson.
Well, she kind of outquicked herself that time. I like what she was doing, being aggressive, but she kind of tripped over her own feet.
And that was a 25-15 fourth quarter in favor of the Pirates, and you just cannot lob a ball like that, as Shaunda Monk's always going to be in the area.
This whole thing's been turned upside down because of this 1-2-1-1 press that they've had. It's been relentless. It's been exciting. It's been gambling. They've just, they left people open and they trapped you, and it's non-predictable, and it's really put them on their heels.
Kaba. It's a night where 10 points is still good enough to have Schuler as your leading scorer for UCF, part of her double-double. A balanced effort, 4 players, 8 points or more.
Look at Monk open in the corner.
That's got to be an offensive foul. It is, as it'll go against Johnson.
Yeah, they just don't. They don't see, look and see. Sometimes you can look, but you got to see. And when you have an open player that shoots well, you got to get him the ball and less dribble, more pass.
The first time here in overtime, let's check in with Aaron.
Between regulation and overtime, both benches were completely different. The energy on the ECU bench was very high. They were all smiles. All the Pirates were giving each other high fives. For UCF, they were focused. They were looking at their head coach, listening intently on what they needed to do in overtime. See how that plays out in the next 3 minutes.
Knights are now 2 of 11 from beyond the arc after missing that last one. Meanwhile, 3-pointers have certainly been a story tonight for ECU, including the reason why we're playing overtime right now. Monk, 3 of 9. Off the mark that time.
Well, what ECU needs to do is not go back and forth in a quarter-court game. They've got to keep this thing full court with their defense. They've got to keep trapping and mixing it up because that's how they got here.
So Wright, Kaba, Thigpen, Schuler, and McDonald, the 5 that Coach Abe has for UCF right now here in crunch time. 2.5 to play in our first overtime period. Thigpen. Coming in, Schuler. Fresh shot clock now. KK Wright, no, from 16. And back over to the Pirates.
KK's still trying to figure out that shoe, so she's just off her game a bit because of this injury. She shot that just not, she didn't have her feet set.
I love when Lashonda Monk made a big play earlier in the ballgame. First person she went to was Nicole Mealing. She may be in her first stint as a head coach right now in an awkward situation, but she's been on this staff for 7 years. These players know her so well. Going in for a closer look, Frazier.
Right back at her.
And around 3 defenders, and it will not go down for G. Got to talk to that rim next time in practice. Supposed to get that home court roll. Oh, nice back and forth to create the open look, but they still struggle around the perimeter tonight.
They struggle around the perimeter, but UCF still keeps battling on the offensive glass. That time keeping it alive was Paul. Just tipping it and keeping it alive for another possession.
Kaba's 2 points to start this overtime period are still the only 2 points so far. As the Pirates have been held scoreless.
I like to see a little more dribble penetration by the guards in a direct line to open up a shooter. You dribble against the zone, dribble in a gap and pitch it out, not dribble towards each other.
ECU briefly had a 2-point lead around the 4-minute mark of the opening quarter. And UCF now inside the final minute, trying to stretch this to a 2-score advantage. Still 10 on the shot clock. KK Wright. Open look from the wing. Well, UCF has missed now their last 7 shots. It's a 4-minute drought, but they're still holding the Pirates away.
Well, everybody's long and hitting the back of the rim, and UCF's just doing enough to keep the ball alive, and then it tips out, so they get another fresh possession. You take it out and use some time. They could eat the clock.
And a foul on the Pirates. Again, team fouls reset heading into overtime.
Monk's grabbing her shorts. She's super tired, but look for her to grab enough energy to take this next shot.
Yeah, I'm still not passing the ball anywhere near her if I'm a Knight.
Once again, free throws.
UCF is 9 for 9 from the charity stripe with 1 more to go here for Sydney McDonald, the senior.
They don't look like they have a care in the world at the free throw line. That's a 4-point lead with 23 seconds to go. So they need to get a quick one, get a quick screen play, get a quick shot, and then get a quick foul.
Such a tight ball game. You think of all the little things. If just one of them hadn't gone your way up until this point, you might be already on the losing end of a competitive night. Right now, UCF up by 2 scores. Those were some big free throws.
Well, huge free throws. I think ECU has done an outstanding job of their press. I mean, this is what Coach Abe had talked about, what she was scared about going in, that they do so many things, and that press really is special. But their half-court execution versus that 3-2 zone was not good tonight, and that's what's been, you know, that's been tough, because every time they have to go and set up in that half-court, they've had a tough time executing against it.
Some adorable fans looking on as we're down cheering for the Pirates this evening. They've seen the Pirates do quite well during their brief careers as fans in the crowd. Here at home in Williams Arena, the Knights trying to escape. As we'll take a look at some of the numbers that stand out here. Our first overtime period, this for the ball game now. And obviously a big three-pointer for the Pirates to force us into overtime.
Well, it used to be the rebounds and the second chance points, obviously, for UCF, but those all go down the drain when you put a defense like ECU's put on them. Their defense has totally controlled the tempo of that last 4 minutes of the fourth quarter. It hasn't been so significant in the overtime, and that's one reason they haven't gotten their offense going, because their offense, all of those points that Monk got were in transition off steals, and she's not getting them now. She's having to work for them, and you know she's got to move to get it done. Somebody's going to have to set a screen for her.
Hard to imagine ECU could shoot 29% at home and still hand UCF its first loss in conference play. Now they have not yet prevailed this evening. They are down by 2 scores.
Well, they need a quick 2, as in quick, as in under 10-second 2.
This was 56 all at the end of regulation. Pirates have not scored, and now almost the duration of the 5 minutes. Kaba will tap it out of play. Shot clock is off. For the Knights, and you see somebody shooting a 3, you get away.
Well, they've done pretty well, probably way above their average on 3-pointers tonight. So that's the shot. But I mean, I'd take a quick 2. I mean, just give me a shot.
And this is where we see somebody drive to the rim and just hope for a foul.
There you go. That's what you have to do. You have to attack it. These perimeter passes and, you know, trying to set up a play, that baseline's wide open. Plenty of time, though, 7.4 seconds.
As Pirates right now are looking for their first points of overtime, with Monk looking to set a new career high. Still 25 points for Monk. And just as important as those 25 points are the 8 steals she has had tonight. And there is your new career high for the sophomore, Monk. 26, and looking for point number 27 right here. If she can make it, they can set up their defense, go for a steal, and then perhaps a foul. And see if UCF can stay perfect at the line on the opposite end.
Yeah, timeout. She'll take it at half court. They're not going to play back here and give them an opportunity to score. So good timeout by Coach Abe to get her offense set. And obviously they need a steal or a quick foul. Look for a steal, though, because they've done it before. And if they can... you know, sometimes you leave the out-of-bounds player open and then double-team their best, you know, player. But obviously they're going to look for Schuler. I mean, any of their kids can shoot the free throw. So, I mean, they've had ice in their veins at the free throw line here in the last couple quarters.
Well, what a display tonight here in the American. Shows you how tight this race may prove to be down the stretch. We came in with a team at 5-0, UCF a team at 1-3, and ECU. ECU was picked to finish 8th this year in conference. Knights were picked to finish 4th. And yet, here's just your typical school night battle in Greenville. No need to get a shot off. You just want to take time off that clock, and the reach in called on Frazier.
I don't understand how they left Thigpen open on that play. You know, she was open, and you want to try to blanket her. But anyway, we'll see what happens here.
Kayla looking to join two of her teammates with 10 points tonight. Schuler and McDonald, 10 points apiece against Schuler with that double-double, 12 rebounds.
Well, UCF proves that you don't have to have a lot of star power. Obviously, they didn't have a star.
That's a big miss. When was the last time you can think of the Pirates tying a ball game up with a big three-pointer this season?
Well, that was a big miss, and it's a surprising miss. I guess I kind of got lulled into, I think she's going to make it.
Yeah, UCF made its first 11 free throws tonight, and all of a sudden, 11 of 12 leaves the door open. ECU, of course, forced this overtime period with a big three-pointer as time was expiring from Justice G, an unlikely source of that triple, but perhaps more heroics coming up here for the Pirates with the basketball.
Well, you never know. They've got plenty of time to get one off or you know, make a pass and get another one off, but who's going to take it is the key, you know. It's Williams, it could be Monk, it could be G out of the corner. You never know.
ECU 7 of 20 from beyond the arc tonight.
I would definitely want to get it quickly so I could get an offensive rebound and maybe throw it back, but we'll see what they run here against the zone.
Williams is back in the ball game.
I like him to screen that baseline.
She and Monk are your two best options. Here is Williams, a good clean look. It'll scrape off the iron. They need to get it back outside the arc, and when it's all said and done, the Knights do not allow a field goal for the Pirates in overtime, and they will hang on and improve for the first time in program history here in the American. 6-0. They will collide with that other unbeaten team in the league on Sunday as they'll face UConn on ESPN2.
They worked hard for this one. You know, Coach had to give it everything they had, and congrats to ECU for an outstanding basketball game.
Let's check in with Coach Abe. She's with our Erin Summers.
Coach, you didn't allow ECU to score a field goal in overtime. What did you change?
Her name is KK Wright. That's what we changed.
Putting her back in the game?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if the best player in the league is out, I mean, I have to put her back in. I'm trying to be careful with her ankle. We have to have somebody obviously look at it, but obviously her and obviously this young lady played great today for us.
How important were those late free throws that your team made under pressure? You're 11 of 12 from the line.
Yeah, I mean, those are always important. All the little things are always important in games like this.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Well, we weren't certain it was going to happen,
with our player of the game.
Hi, Niala Schuler.
You had a double-double tonight. How were you able to be so aggressive on both ends of the court?
Well, in the scouting report, we knew that the middle was going to be wide open, so I just had to make sure I knocked down those shots and then be aggressive getting offensive rebounds.
What did it take from the team tonight in order to withstand ECU's late push?
Well, we know they're going to play hard, and they play hard for 40 minutes. Unfortunately, we had to go into overtime, so it took a lot of mental focus.
Thanks. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Lincoln?
Very deserving the double-double as the Knights improved to 6-0. Again, picked preseason fourth, but I think a lot of people now, with almost a month completed in conference play, look at them to be the top team to have a chance to challenge for one of those top two spots along with UConn here in American play.
Yeah, they definitely have put themselves in the spotlight. There's not going to be an easy game left for them on the calendar because everybody's going to want to take them out. But great job, and they're undefeated.
For Erin Summers and Angela Beck, I'm Lincoln Rose. Big thanks to our entire ADN crew in Greenville. The Knights hang on for the overtime win, 61-58. Coming up this Saturday, we'll find ourselves back in Dallas as the Mustangs host the USF Bulls as our spotlight continues this year on women's basketball in the American Athletic Conference.